Now let's talk about what to charge as a videographer. When I first started, I honestly wanted somebody to spoon feed me the answers. I honestly couldn't figure out what to charge a client. And if somebody had just given me a cheat sheet of what the prices were, I honestly would have appreciated that instead of having to figure it out for myself. So which is what I'm doing in this video. With this video, I'm actually going to give you what to start charging your clients now as a beginner or as an intermediary. This is up to you if you choose to do this. Please remember, it's a guidelines and you can follow it and then tweak it as much as you can. You don't have to follow it to the T, but it's just guidelines. So let's begin. So first things first, you definitely need to figure out where you belong. You need to figure out your skill level. If you are a beginner, in the middle, or an expert. So I would say there's 6 ways in which you could price your service. So number 1 is value-based pricing. And I learned this from reading the book by Blair Enns. It's Pricing for Creatives. I recommend you go read the book. It breaks it down really well as to how you can do the pricing. So basically, the synopsis of what value-based pricing is basically saying, if a business approaches me and my service to them is probably end up going to bring them 100,000 worth of business. Well, I'll say, well, since you're going to potentially make 100,000 for my service, why don't I charge you 10% of that? So let me charge you 10,000 for this piece of content that I'm going to create for you, because it could lead to produce 100,000 worth of revenue for your company. So that's what value-based pricing is. Next is hourly pricing. And I know a lot of people on YouTube now tell you not to do hourly-based pricing. But when I was starting out, it was the only way I knew. I had the job and that's all I know. So at the beginning, it's easier to do hourly-based pricing because I had the job when I was making so amount of money per hour. Well, why don't I just take that same thinking and just apply it to my videography business when I first started? There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's fine. Start out with hourly based pricing, and as time goes on, you figure it out. So what it is just simply figure out how much you want to get paid per hour and then charge that. And then slowly you progress to daily rate. So because I started from hourly, and then as soon as when I get comfortable with hourly, then I moved next to daily rates, having a daily rate. So all right, if you want me to come out to shoot for a day, I'm going to charge you $150 per day. And then you slowly graduate. The third one is monthly retainers. And what this is simply getting a client to pay you every single month for a particular service. So take, for example, if I was working with a restaurant and I created content for them every single month, I could just say, hey, pay me $1,500 and I'll do 3 videos for you every single month. I'll come and I'll do the shoots. And they pay me that every single month. So absolutely phenomenal pricing strategy too as well, if you do choose to pick that option. Next is fixed project pricing. So meaning that you price for the entire project. So when you get a client and they're like, hey, listen, we want you to take care of all of this. We don't want to do anything. You handle all of it, start to finish, everything. Then you simply go in, figure out what the cost of the project is and how much you want to put markup, and just make it a flat fee. And then you charge the client like, hey, this project is going to cost you $20,000 for this job. And they just pay you $20,000 and that's it. And you figure out the rest to execute. So that's what fixed project pricing is. The next pricing model will be packaging your services. So this is basically having itemized things. For example, photographers are great for this. All right, for 10 photos, I charge you $300, you know. For 20 photos, I charge you $600, you know. For 40 photos, I charge you $1,000, you know. So this is packaging or itemizing your service into basically a product, and then you charge based on the necessary deliverables. So those are the pricing models you need to pick from. Now I'm going to tell you what to actually charge your clients and which pricing strategy that I liked at the beginning. At the beginning, the day rate pricing strategy was my favorite. It's easy to use because I could charge agencies my day rates, and a random person off the street who asked me to do cover their event, I would just simply charge them using my day rate. All right, if you want me out there for 8 to 12 hours in a day, you would have to pay me so amount. It's easy. Everybody understood day rate, which is why I love that. So let's start off. If you are a beginner, you could price your day rate at $150 to $250 per day. And this usually includes if you already have your gear. If you are an intermediate, what I would say you can price yourself is at 350 to 650 day rate. This usually you have a higher level equipment, you have a higher level camera, a higher level tripod, a higher level lighting system. You've already been in the game for a little bit. You understand more nuances. You are better than you were when you first started. You've invested in yourself. You've taken some courses. You know better, and you're faster even. So you can price yourself at the intermediate level. You command that price, and typically agencies will pay you that amount. If you are a DP, you can definitely charge that amount. So next is, if you are a professional, if you've been doing this for a couple of times, you've done a couple of movies, you've won maybe some feature film awards, you've done this for a while, you've done some high level commercials under your belt, you've built a solid portfolio, you can honestly charge between $900 to $3,000, around that range as a professional. So the next pricing strategy that I normally do is a fixed pricing strategy. I like this a lot simply because it's easy. I just need to figure out what my cost is for the whole entire project and how much I want to make from it. And I just put those numbers in and I just have a fixed amount. I like it because it's harder to argue about this price because I know what my costs are. So if somebody's trying to lowball me, I won't necessarily budge because I'm like, no, these are my costs. This is what it actually cost me to produce it. So that's why I like it, because if I did arbitrary numbers, if I pulled numbers out of the hat just randomly, if somebody was trying to bargain with me, I didn't have anything to defend me. Like I don't have anything to fall back and be like, all right, I can't budge because of. But when I use the fixed pricing model, honestly, there's no room for negotiation. Absolutely not. If you are interested in the project-based pricing, I'll give you some of the numbers that you can start off with. So for project-based pricing, let's rank it. You have the small projects, medium projects, and then high-end projects. So for small-end projects, this is simple, short promotional videos, event videos. You're going out there for 8 to 12 hours a day, and that's it. You're wrapped, you're done. You could charge anywhere between $200 to $1,200 for those videos, right? And then if it's a medium-sized project, so this include like a commercial for a particular, a company that's down the street from you, like those kind of things, where it includes maybe multiple day shoots. Maybe you're out there for 3 or 4 days shooting different B-rolls to make a commercial, that kind of project, and if it's a company, you factor that into as well, things like that. I like to charge between $2,500 to $10,000 for that particular project, right? And then if you're talking about high-end projects, I'm talking about if you're doing major commercials, if you're doing complex videos, if you're talking about like a documentary, for example, you charge anywhere between $20,000 to $100,000. That's what I go with. So in this Excel sheet, this is this very simple Excel sheet that you can use to figure out how to charge a client or how much you charge per hour. So here we have the team member cost. So basically yourself, or if you're doing this with somebody else, how much do you guys make? And honestly, you can start off with whatever full-time job or part-time job you have right now. If you make $20 an hour, you can start by charging $20 an hour. So put your name in here. I'll put my name. So Fahad, my role is the videographer. And then you put how many hours you're going to be working for that particular day. If it's a 12 hours or 8 hours, you figure that out. And then you charge $20 per hour. So here, I charge $20 per hour, which is what my rate is. Maybe that's what my full-time job is. So start from there. So meaning that for 12 hours, I get paid $240. Now, you also have to factor in what other costs do you have? Rental costs. So for example, if I'm going to be renting an equipment for this thing, let's assume a mic, and then the mic for this because maybe we're doing an interview and it's going to be for 12 hours. You figure out how much it costs. Maybe it costs, when you rent it at a place, it costs maybe $3 to rent per hour, or you can reverse it when you go to those rental places. They tell you what the price is. Maybe it costs us $36 to rent the microphone. Now it's $36. Now what's our total cost? It's $240, which is my labor hours, and the rental cost of $36. So now our total cost for this is going to cost us $276. Now we look, okay, all right, how much profit margins do we want to make? Simple. Maybe you say, all right, I just want an extra $100 in this. you know. So what this is, you put in your project budget. So let's assume you say this is 376, an additional $100 is what I want to make in profit. Now you know, all right, good. I know how much it's going to cost me in labor, which is $20. And then I know how much I'm going to be charging the guests, which is $31, to be able to make my profit margin and be able to go home happy. So this is how you can use the hourly based pricing to figure out if you are just starting out. This is the easiest way I'd recommend. So if you decide to charge your client a fixed project fee and you just want to calculate all your costs and just simply charge them a flat amount to your client, you can definitely do that. So here, let's look at this Excel sheet. This would be great for that. So with this Excel sheet, you can just simply look into it. You can figure out what your pre-production cost is. So if, for example, you're going to be hiring a producer and it's going to cost you, $35 an hour, and you're going to need them for 8 hours, you calculate how much that is. And then if you're going to be traveling for this, maybe you have to travel to a different city, you put in that amount and then your total, which is $780 for pre-production cost. Your production cost, you have crew salary. It's just yourself. You factor that in, you get paid $20 an hour for 8 hours for this project. You figure it's going to take 8 hours to complete, and then you're make $224 from this. You also figure out how much it's going to cost you to rent the equipment. If it's $600, you put that for all the gears you're going to rent. Sound production, if you're going to hire a sound guy and it's going to take 8 hours and charge you $18, you simply impute those information and you have your total. Makeup and hair, location, and expenses, you figure how much those are going to cost you and you have your total. So you know what your pre-production cost is. Now you know what your production cost is. Also, you want to know what your post-production cost is. For example, editing takes a lot of time. So all right, it's going to take me 24 hours to edit this, and I'm going to get paid $20 an hour for each hour I spent editing this video, and then total it comes to $500. And then also, if you're going to purchase storage for this entire project, you know how it is as a videographer, you always factor in storage. I recommend you do as well. So storage is going to cost $230. You factor all that in. If there's any additional expenses you incur, you put that in. And then now you know what your project cost is. It's going to cost you $4,038 to produce this. So you can simply charge the guest $4,038 for this project. And you can defend your pricing with this, because this makes the most sense for you to keep staying afloat in business, because you factor in the cost and how much everything's going to make and how much you're going to make. I would say go with this option if you've graduated from the hourly based price and you want to go to more of a fixed project pricing. So just so you know, this Excel sheet is provided for you. Just simply click on the link and you can have access to this. I think it was very helpful for me when I started out. So I'm hoping it will be very helpful to you too as well. So I hope this was valuable to you. Cheers. Have a great day.